So I have a dirty secret. When I was 15 years old, I started smoking. These twins, they were the coolest. They always came for the summer. Everyone was friends with them, and they brought a packet of cigarettes. And obviously, I wanted to fit in. And they said, "Oh, what if you try the cigarettes?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 no. My father smoked, so I hated the smell, and I hated the whole thing." But well, eventually, I gave in. For 29 years, I was a nicotine user, on in one way or another, because I've been smoking for a long, long time, and I was this really, really horrible smoker. The one that, if I was partying all night long, and I was partying, let's say from 10 o'clock till 3, 4 in the morning, and I was having pint after pint, and I was chain smoking, and the next morning when I woke up and my throat felt like an ashtray, the very first thing I did in the morning is to get up, to brew my coffee, and light up a cigarette. So that's horrible. I was really, really bad. I'm kind of the person that, if I do something, I do it properly. It doesn't matter if it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. I just do things on full power, and that's me. I was never able to change that. And it doesn't really apply to everything at the same level. Like, for example, I never had like serious alcohol problems. I can go out in the evening, and the only thing is that I'm probably never going to have one pint. So people go out and say, okay, let's have a pint. To me, it's definitely not going to stop at one, which is not a problem because it happens to other people. Um, well, it depends on the viewpoint, really, because it is a problem. It's a social drug. It is a drug. So, um, whatever you say it is. I was smoking up until the age 35, and shortly after my son was born, I said, well, I can't do this anymore. I'm I'm holding a baby and I smell like shit all the time. It's not nice. My wife, she never smoked. This is a very difficult subject because if she never smoked, she probably doesn't understand the full effects of nicotine on the human brain, like how it works and why it's so difficult actually to really get rid of this habit. So at that point, I changed smoking for vaping. My lungs were better, definitely everything was better. But then COVID came, and actually, when we had COVID, um, I was angry because I didn't think it was the right thing to do to actually have experimental vaccines, and I didn't take them. I resisted until the very last second, and I never took any vaccine that was related to this disease. Um, some people are gonna throw stones at me, but I don't care. Just my body, my decision anyway. And my reason was exactly that it's an experimental vaccine. So why would I accept that if someone's just trying to force me? How does vape come here? It comes to the picture because then I started to think that I changed smoking for vaping because NHS keeps saying that vaping is a much better option. Like, who says that? Well, NHS. Then I started to think like how old is like the vape business itself, and who knows the long-term effects. Because when I got stuck with the COVID vaccines, like when I was angry, that when I read articles saying that, okay, well, we didn't find any long-term effects in the short term. I'm like, you've been trying to push these vaccines for like 3 months. How could you possibly find long-term effects? So I started to think, how about vaping and the long-term effects? We are the first generation really entering the long list of diseases we're possibly going to get from vaping because we think it's better than cigarettes, because the NHS told us, and they have absolutely no clue. Like, we don't know, okay, you can get probably lung cancer, but God knows what else is going to cause, and no one knows yet. Maybe there are going to be new diseases related to vaping. So the time came when I went really fat, and I had to change a couple of things around, and at the same time I started to seriously think about this vaping habit. And what I've done, I actually did change the vaping to something that's called a nicotine pouch. And this nicotine pouch was all the way through the last 2 years, it was just fine. Like, I was able to breathe, I was able to raise my VO2 max, I was able to run, I was strong. I was still getting my nicotine. So that's fantastic. I'm a nicotine addict. The only side effect I noticed is uh, the gum where I keep it. If I keep it for too long, the gum is going to be a bit inflamed, so it's a bit red, and it's definitely not a good thing. And probably in the long term, I'm going to lose some tooth. Um, but it's definitely still better than vaping because I don't inhale any sort of chemical into my lungs. I had the dragons back in September, and I was a bit set back after that, and I started to put on weight again, and at the beginning of December I picked up vaping out of blue. And if you ask me why, it's probably simply because I'm a nicotine addict. I'm addicted to nicotine like anything. I still find it a horrible thing, and I decided to make a series on this channel to actually show the effects of nicotine, and I want to show the withdrawal symptoms because I'm going to quit. Now I have about 1.5 tank to empty, and I might go through it, might not. I will decide the right moment. I'm definitely not going to buy more to smoke or vape. And I'm going to change this now completely, going back on pouch. And eventually I'm going to, because I'm going to reduce the strength of the pouch gradually, because I'm so badly addicted to nicotine that I couldn't possibly handle just go cold turkey, and because I use a lot of nicotine, that's a fact. I use the vape at the moment, and I use the pouch as well, which is like the pouch currently I'm using is 9 milligrams, and the vape is like, it is strong. It is very strong. It's not something that I refill and buy the liquid. This is something that the tank comes, I put it in the device, and I just vaporizing it. And so I won't go cold turkey because it's gonna kill me. I mean, I have 3 kids. How often would I lose my patience because of my own shit? Probably too many times. So I can't do that. I'm going to gradually reduce from 9 milligram. Once I quit the vape, I'll probably wait a couple of weeks to adjust, because your brain has to adjust, your nervous system has to adjust. There's a lot of things that have to adjust, probably your sleep as well, where that's connected to your nervous system. But anyway, I'm going to reduce, after that, I'm going to reduce the pouch from 9 milligrams to 6, and from 6 milligram to 3. And after that, I'm going to have to reduce the frequency of using the pouch, and maybe even try some nicotine free. There is a available option, a couple of options, and this is the plan. And I'm going to document it because what I see now is the youngsters. No one is really smoking. It's truly disgusting. I mean, vaping is also disgusting. I always thought when I was smoking, I looked at these people with the vapes, and they look so, they look weird. I mean, putting this plastic thing in the mouth and sucking on it, and it looks a bit ridiculous, to be honest with you. And now I'm one of those people again. And I got rid of it once. I'm gonna get rid of it one more time, and hopefully the last time. It is a horrible habit. I see the youngsters now, they all vaping is such a trend, and they think it's just, it's a cool thing because it just fume. It's not really a smoke, but honestly, no one knows what it's going to do to them. Actually, the government is absolutely horrible, and the NHS is horrible. I don't know who has the hands in these uh, pots full of gold, so I'm going to quit. And about my vape, this is my vape. Look, oh, come on. Yeah, that's my vape. You can see it now, and that's what I'm using. So it has just a bit less than a half tank, and I'm going to get rid of this soon. Maybe I should do a video. I should do a video when I throw it in the bin. I, it's very difficult when you're addicted to something, and it's not the most horrible thing. But let me tell you a story. When I was in high school, and we had this prevention classes where people from institutions where they took care of people with drugs and addictions, they came over to the school and they talked about drugs in general and their own experiences and how they managed to quit all these things. And I think since we were like 16, we had this every single year. And the four of these guys in the year when I was 16, and they all they were horrible things like they were using methadone, cocaine, heroin, uh, opium, whatever, you name it, probably everything. But when we had the break, they said after the break you go back with them. They're not going to be any teacher. You can ask any question and they try to answer it for you. Obviously there had to be some privacy because some guys at that age, they tried different things and the teachers might not need to know that. But anyway, we went back and the only one question I had in my head, because I knew for a fact, I always felt it as well, that people who smoked, all of them were always thinking why I just don't quit. Why I'm doing this to myself. And at the meantime, they're smoking. It's a funny thing. You're able to smoke, enjoy it, and in the meantime, bashing yourself up because you're smoking. So that's a stupid thing. But anyway, I saw these guys smoking in the break time. So I asked them, like, look, I saw you smoking, and you quit the hardest drugs on the planet. These are the hardest drugs, like heroin. Anyone would tell you, like, oh, it's really difficult to quit. And I asked them, you never wanted to quit cigarettes? And all four of them at the same time, with a guilty smile, they were like, oh, yeah, of course we wanted to quit cigarettes, but we couldn't. None of us could. So this is the product. These are the products, like literally anything that includes nicotine, that they are selling to you and your kids and whoever from the shelves of any store almost. And you could just buy it. You can. They ask me in Tesco why I want to buy more than 3 packs of paracetamol, while I can buy a ton of cigarettes or a ton of liquids for vapes. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous, right? And it is sad. And they're selling it off the shelves like it was candy. So I'm absolutely 100% sure that no addiction is harder to handle than nicotine. There's going to be a couple of signs of that on me in the next couple of weeks or months, or God knows how I'm going to work this out, but I am eventually going to work this out. Because look, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm 44 years old. 44. Do I really need that? I look like a bloody choo-choo train. And look, it's pink because I like the fruit flavors, these berry flavors. So it looks pink. So I'm sucking in a pink piece of plastic, which is extra ridiculous. And it could be like baby food when you look at it. It, it could be like baby food, right? You can see the focal plane, I put it here, so you see. It could be baby food. The babies do that, right? And I look like a choo-choo train, like a steam engine. Look, look. So when you think, I'm trying to do things in a perfect way, none of us are perfect, really. Obviously, I'm trying to take care of my body after where I've been. But this thing, this is the heaviest cross I could carry through my life. And I don't want to die as a slave of something. One day I will die, we all die. But I want to go as a free man. And possibly before that, live my life as a free man. So that would be nice too, good addition. And if I get some problems later in life, not to be able to blame myself, which is, it's probably circumstances. And I can't show this to my kids anymore. I can't do that. This is ridiculous. Because they're going to be those youngsters going into the corner shop and they're going to be served anyway. How old are you? Oh, yeah, okay, sure. So I don't want that. Because, my father is doing it, so I have the green light. My father can do it, then I can do it. My father is the most important person right now. No, you can't fucking do that. No, you can't do that. It is horrible. So thank you for watching. You can sign up. You can watch my beautiful journey out of the mess. It's just, I have to do this. I have to do this. And my responsibility is much greater because now I'm not only doing it for myself, but I'm doing it for my kids, which is, it's not a noble thing or anything, but you have to. You have to show them that this is the way. And they watch. It doesn't matter what you tell them. It doesn't matter. They watch and they repeat. That's what they do. So you have to be really careful. So thank you for watching. You can give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and just subscribe if you're interested in this journey and you will see more what's going to happen to me. Probably I'm going to pull some hair out in the future. That's okay.